a beautiful wet day right here in Lagos. But we welcome you to Enterprise Morning today. Reaching you from Enterprise Television, I am Henry Igwebike. We want to thank you for joining in wherever you're doing that from around the world. Thank you so very much for your time. We truly do appreciate it. So we would kick off today with our newspapers. Right after that will be our conversation also for today. Do well to be part of what we do. Have a say in what we say. You can reach us when you visit us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms today at Enterprise TV7. Honored to have with us joining us Evans Ofeli Esquire, barrister, law, public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, barrister. Welcome to Enterprise Television today.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you so for your time. So let's kickstart today, this morning with the newspapers on our desk. We have the Guardian, the Vanguard, the Daily Trust newspaper for the go. But just before we get into that, I have an excerpt I would love us to watch, listen to. And when we come back, we will, of course, discuss this and more.
APC for life, APC for life. 15 pa, 1 vote. 15 pa, say they want me. APC for what? For life.
So right there is a young Nigerian. I love to believe it was her first time of participating in electioneering in Nigeria, and there we have it, 15,000 for 1 vote for her. Barrister, what's your take on this? Watching it's gory actually, but to her it might be exciting. But what's your take?
Well, the huge deposit of ignorance in Nigeria is quite unbecoming, especially for the Gen Zs and those who are just voting for the first time. This is a criminal talking, brandishing money she collected from vote buying or from vote selling. Okay, now this display is enough to prosecute her. Okay, because it is confessional statement she just made before the public. Okay, that she actually sold her vote, and it should be attacked with a term of imprisonment when she is finally prosecuted. Okay, and for the politicians who do the buying, okay, this has been a problem. They just concluded the Ekiti election, and I believe that is from where this trade happened. And the outcome is the same with what we've had over and over again. Okay, the complaint is the same. You know, people are selling their votes, then people are buying. Both sides are excited because the politicians, they won the election. Then the person whom the vote was sold to, the person who sold her vote is brandishing. Not just her, there are many of them. Some of them are complaining that the money they promised them, they didn't give them up to what they ought to have gotten. Okay, this is what elections have been reduced to in Nigeria. Okay, and with this kind of approach and this kind of attitude to politics, you know, the country cannot grow anywhere. The country cannot grow because, first, largely, there's no political education, there's no the right political socialization, what INEC ought to do by law, and what political parties ought to do. They are not doing that. Political parties are supposed to educate their members and supporters. INEC is supposed to carry out political education. There's a department there to sensitize people to let them know what is an offense and what is not. Okay, what is allowed under election and what is not allowed. That is why people are selling. She's now praising the APC that she has gotten 15,000 naira. And that 15,000 naira is in exchange for her future. Okay. She can no longer complain about bad road or any other thing because she has been settled with 15,000 naira for the next 4 years. Okay. And this is what poverty can actually do. See how excited this young girl is because she got 15,000 naira. Now, 15,000 naira is how many dollars is that? Okay,
but that's the carton of noodles in Nigeria.
Yeah, a carton of noodles. That is what you trade 4 years for, and all that. And so when we say that there's problem in Nigeria, people think it's just the politicians, but it has to do largely with the people who have refused to be disciplined. And when you have a country where the people are not disciplined, it will be difficult for the politicians to take them serious. Okay? So I hope that that girl is found. I mean, she's prosecuted. She make further confession of some other persons who sold their vote to. An arrest should be made immediately and have them prosecuted. Once they're able to get someone like that and her cohorts together, prosecute them and put them behind bars, it will stand as deterrence. Society will know that this is an offense. This is unacceptable.
Absolutely, barrister. And the next question is a transition, but it's on the Guardian newspaper. And the story is Osun Accord. PDP warns INEC against release of unclaimed PVC cards to the APC. Barrister, this is more like a transition. You talked about education of INEC to the public and also political parties educating the public and their party members. But a situation like we've seen in Ekiti, where political party members and stalwarts are distributing unclaimed PVC cards to Nigerians, because we saw that on viral videos in Ekiti. So it's not just about willingly going to cast your vote and receiving money for it, but we see party members with the knowledge of INEC in their presence distributing PVC cards, unclaimed ones, to Nigerians. So how do we resolve issues of systemic problem in the glare of those who should be taking care of it?
INEC should be held responsible and accountable for unclaimed PVCs. First, Nigerians who have not collected their PVCs should go and do so. It's important you have it, even if you are not voting. It is a document, it's your identity, okay? And it has all the internet trappings in it. If you don't use it, someone can use it to commit an offense, and you will be in trouble. So Nigerians should go out there and collect their PVCs, okay? And then those who have not collected their NIN and all those things, go and collect it. Somebody can commit crime with it, and it will be traced to you. So already they are committing crime with it, just what you have said now. Distributing it to other persons to go and vote is an offense. You understand? So if anyone is caught with the PVC of another person, okay, and you say it's INEC that gave the person, if the person says it's not INEC that gave it, that it is the person whose face is there that gave it to him, that person whose face is there can become an accessory after the fact, or a conspirator, okay, or an accomplice. So you that have done your PVC and you left it there with INEC and it's being used to commit offense, you are not extricated. You are not extricated. In law, that's what they call latches and acquiescence. Okay, when you are supposed to do something, you refuse to do it. Inactions. Okay, offense is premised on actions and inactions. Where you are supposed to do something, you refuse to do it. When the time comes, you will pay for it. You understand? Because INEC have turned that office to mammon. What INEC is interested in, once there is money coming from anywhere, they are ready to sell even the INEC office to a volunteer. They are ready to collect money and just sell anything on site. And that is the level where, and the level of indiscipline from INEC also colors the quality of elections in Nigeria. Then before you even get to the public, those ones have lost control. Okay, those ones have lost control completely. That's why someone will come and brandish 15,000 naira and be praising APC. To her now, APC is working. To her, this is the dividend of democracy, 15,000 naira. Yeah? And you said these people are tired of poverty. I don't think they are tired of poverty. This is what I talk about. Anytime the average Nigerian have the opportunity to pull out, because election is an opportunity to correct things. Anytime they have the opportunity to correct things, and they remember their fellowship with poverty, like this young girl, they will compromise. They will collect money and make sure that no change is effected. Yes, they will do that. And you can see the level of brigandage that happened in Ekiti. There was ballot snatching. there was impersonation, there was vote buying, there was all sorts in that election, in just one state. In just one state. The number of registered voters in that state, how many are they? Is it about 3 million or thereabouts? The number
Not
of
close, not close. The total number of accredited voters were just less than 200,000.
400,000.
Yeah.
Okay. And look at the outcome. Look at the level of violence that was associated with that election. I learned that it was like 35% or thereabouts that came out to vote. 35 to 36%, which was actually better than the last nationwide that was 26%. Okay. But the outcome, I mean, the opposition are complaining, almost everyone is complaining about the outcome of that election. Because the one that INEC is supposed to do, INEC will compromise it. The one that is beyond their control, that's the one that has to do with violence and all that, they still will not be able to manage it. Of course, they cannot even manage that one. The one they can manage, their own personnel, are, their hands are in the cookie jar. So everybody's committing crime. The soul of the country is so battered that no one is ready. Nobody's thinking for the country. Everybody's thinking for themselves. Selfishness, how to outsmart the other person, how to turn around just to cut corners. That's what is going on. No country grows that way. Until we are disciplined, Nigeria is going nowhere.
Definitely. And just to buttress that, we learned that the APC Edo State chairman was accredited by INEC as an official, and we saw him there. He was equally brandishing the INEC regalia as an accredited officer there to see what's happening. So one would wonder, how would APC be an accredited inspector or supervisor? It's actually quite sad how that we have totally polluted elections and the process in Nigeria. But Barrister, let's take a look at this matter. It's more like a transition further. We're talking about those at the lowest ebb of the food chain, but let's take a look at those at the very top. Sanwo-Olu, Tunde Bakare lead calls for governance, geo-economics reform. And let's not forget, Barrister, Tunde Bakare was amongst those who championed the cause for Goodluck Ebele Jonathan to resign because of the many upheavals, economic upheavals that was experienced at the time. Sadly, Tunde Bakare is no longer speaking. He's so numb that people are wondering what's wrong with him. And now he is asking for good governance when he should be speaking against good governance by those who have messed it up. What's your take on this?
Yeah, it's the level of hypocrisy for me. During the time of Jonathan, where things were not even this bad, the Save Nigeria protests that led to the convergence, or the Jota convergence, in 2012, was orchestrated and largely organized by Tunde Bakare and the rest of them. Okay, today, they are not able to talk. Nigeria was even sane then. I mean, things were quite far better than it is now. And they organized all the things they complained about at that time. APC have done the same and surpassed it. Okay? And then they are unable to talk. It's not calling for good governance. Good governance under who? Under who? Good governance under Tinubu. Is it good governance Tinubu is talking about? Good governance under the one that is to come after Tinubu? Okay? Tinubu don't have capacity. He lacks even the thinking faculty to put or organize the country in the first place. He shouldn't be talking about good governance. He should be talking about calling Tinubu to resign. That's exactly what he should be doing. He should be calling Tinubu to resign immediately because Tinubu have ruptured the economy, turned the country sideways, not able to reconcile the economy, public healthcare, education, everything is in shambles. It's in shambles. And it's hypocritical for Tunde Bakare to calling for good governance. And even Sanwo-Olu and the rest of that, who are they calling on? Who are they calling on? They are the ones in power. They are the ones that have the authority to effect change. This good governance they are calling, who are they calling? Who is bearing the resources of the country? Who is managing it? They are the ones managing it, they are the ones bearing it. So they should do the needful and stop philandering.
The pages of the Vanguard newspaper, and straight to the talking point here. Serap wants 110 billion naira recovered from lawmakers after court voids allowances and orders. A barrister, it's one thing for the court to say what it knows how to say, but it's another thing to see such being implemented. So in this case, do you think anything would be done after this, after the court voids allowances of our legislators?
Yes, the Senate is taking steps to enforce the judgment. The judgment can be enforced against the lawmakers, of course. The enforcement proceedings and processes have been commenced. Sarah has written a letter to them already. So that's the first place. The judgment debtor will get, you write a letter to judgment debtor then demanding for compliance with the judgment, okay? Where they fail to comply, then the next step will be taken. Know what to do in the case under reference. Can take them before the court for contempt. They can actually do a lot, and sensitize Nigerians too to lend their voices. Okay, protest when necessary, assemble when necessary. But it's a good judgment for the country. I mean, the rate at which our resources are depleted. This is a victory for democracy, that judgment. Whichever way you go, whichever way you look at it, enforcement, we must put pressure on enforcement of that judgment because the judgment of the court.
International for a bit, barrister. Donald J. Trump and Iran, yet again. Iran is blocking the Straits of Hormuz after the deal signed by Pezeshkian, the president of Iran, and Donald J. Trump yet again. And the reason for them doing that was that they said the United States is still not holding on to the agreement of holding on Israel not to keep attacking Lebanon. Barrister, this is a cul-de-sac, if you would agree with me. And how do you think diplomatically this can be settled when United States can't hold down Israel?
Yeah, it seems the United States is no longer able to control Israel, largely because Israel did not even support that agreement. Okay, yes, because why in the agreement Iran is saying that Israel should stop. Okay, the enemies surrounding Israel, those ones are not tied to the agreement because they too are still threatening fire and brimstone. Okay, so Israel is in between the devil and the deep blue sea because why there's an agreement somewhere tying its action to some war arrangement, saying the more you keep on this, the more we'll have problem with these people. Then when you turn around, if Israel halt and the America is having a good way with Iran, the enemies of Israel are threatening fire and brimstone. So at the end of the day, Israel will rather stick to its sovereignty, okay, than to yield to the agreement, okay, and then stay under perpetuation or fear of being attacked at any point in time. So if this agreement has to work, it's not just Israel you call up. You call other nations, neighboring surrounding nations that have dispute with Israel within the Middle East and have a thorough agreement, one that is honest enough, one that comes with a total solution to the problem. Okay, then America can make such demands and let them put heads together to have this issue resolved once and for all.
And, because of that announcement by Donald J. Trump on his Truth Social, the pump price went down. Barrels per dollar equally went down. Nigeria today sells for 1,200 naira. With the Straits of Hormuz closed yet again, who knows if the pump price might still return back. What a ping pong that's being played on the pulses of people. It is actually quite sad. But Barrister will still be here to take us on our main conversation when we return. Southeast leaders exploring political solution for Nnamdi Kanu's release. And that's coming from David Umahi. That in a bit. Enterprise morning it is. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thank you so very much for being back. And if you just joined us, Enterprise Morning, it is reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's head straight to our conversation for today. A Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi, said Southeast leaders are seeking political solutions for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB leader, while promoting peace in the region. He also stated that Ebonyi State supports President Bola Tinubu and it's not part of the obedient movement. Speaking during an inspection of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project, Umahi praised Tinubu's infrastructure efforts and criticized reports that Peter Obi would stop some projects if elected president. He said leadership requires honesty, accountability, and proven achievements. Umahi accused Obi of failing to address insecurity and the Monday sit-at-home order in the Southeast, claiming he had not been truthful with the people. He equally challenged supporters of the obedient movement to compare Tinubu's records as Lagos governor with Obi's record as Anambra State governor. The minister maintained that the coastal highway and other projects would boost economic growth, especially in the southeast of Nigeria. Now let's get talking. Barrister Vance Ofeli is still with us. Thank you so very much, Barrister, for hanging on.
Yeah.
All right, so that is the point of view of Dave Umahi saying all that he is saying. I would love to believe that is because he is the Minister of Works to President Bola Tinubu. So we would not expect him to say otherwise. But Barrister, let's compare what he had said. Governor Bola Tinubu at the time, from 1999 to 2007, and Peter Gregory Obi's tenure in office. Is there something we should be looking at here in comparison?
Well, I don't know what people say about Tinubu doing this, doing that. Tinubu's era didn't do much. The little work he did was at the Lagos Island. I mean, left the mainland just the way it was. Nigeria, Lagos largely had been built even before that time. Lagos have there a lot of facility, being a former state capital of Nigeria, and being a coastal city, okay, with all the trappings of development, and having been the crown colony since 1861. Lagos Island, I mean, Marina, the coast of all that, have been highly developed even before all the return to democracy in 1999. Okay, I've not seen what Tinubu did as much that the likes of David Umahi will be comparing and be talking about. By the way, the people of Ebonyi State will decide who they are going to vote for. David Umahi cannot be speaking on behalf of the entire population. I mean, Ebonyi State, I think they have up to 5 million or thereabout people. Okay, so he cannot be speaking for them that way. They will speak for themselves using their PVC during the election to do that. I thought that our focus on this is going to be on the Nnamdi Kanu angle to the story. But the next thing I read over there is about Peter Obi not being comparable to Tinubu at the time when Peter Obi did quite a number of projects that are still on, that are still nearing to date in Anambra State. He fought criminality. Okay. He one that actually changed the structure of road construction in Anambra State and did so much. The schools, education. I don't know why he's not being supported. And perhaps it's because David Umahi is serving in this government and we want to retain maybe his portfolio for the next time or something. I mean, all of them are talking based on selfish conviction, not really that they're saying the truth. Saying most of the things they're saying just to remain in power. That's exactly what's going on, not because they know that Tinubu is doing anything meaningful. These same persons you are seeing in the future, in the far-flung future, you will see many of them will talk against Tinubu. Yes, many of them. When everything is gone down and they're no longer getting any gratification from the system, then they will start to say the truth. They will now start to write books and be looking for who will come and launch it and all that. And then they will not be saying the truth when it's already late to do so.
Yes, very well said. But I still remember Ibrahim Mantu and all he said, and his confession actually at the end of the day, just prior to the time he died. But let's take a look at Nnamdi Kanu, a political solution. Barrister, we all know that his incarceration, legally, it's not supposed to be what it is. But what sort of political solution do you think would work, knowing that Nnamdi Kanu himself is adamant to anything that would maybe pose as making him weak with his determination?
Well, they've been talking about this political solution for a long time. Benjamin Kalu was talking about a political solution then. I know that one was in rules. It was going nowhere. Then there was a time that even Peter Obi and some other persons were talking about the political solution. Now Umahi is talking about the political solution. So many persons have talked about the political solution. But the details of this political solution, we don't know. We don't know what the details are. We don't know who is doing what, when, and how. Do they want to use the other? Because the option open to him now is prerogative of mercy, because now he has been convicted. Okay, which only the president can invoke based on the advice of the council. Okay, your Security Council.
Yes.
So the thing is, if there's going to be a political solution, they should effect it. They should effect it at when necessary. They should do it now. Okay? Because I see that they are playing politics with it. It's a very huge emotional issue that can actually give Tinubu political capital. And maybe they want to push it close to election before they release him so that it can then become a rebase for Tinubu's popularity in the southeast. But I don't know what the political solution is. I don't know the strategy they want to adopt. You understand? But the truth is that Nnamdi Kanu was wrongly convicted. And I think they have filed an appeal to that effect now. But what I want to warn is that appeal, they have to get lawyers to handle the appeal. This issue of I'll do the case myself, I want to defend myself, is foolishness. You defend yourself, you throw yourself into further problem because you cannot defend yourself. You can't. The law will say you can do it, but you will run into trouble. Just like the court of first instance before he was convicted. The conviction was unnecessary. If a lawyer had handled this matter, it wouldn't have gone that way. Okay, so since they're on appeal now, they should get lawyers to commence this appeal and then get the political solution and go to it. I mean, now they come from a local government. That local government have a local government chairman. It's from a ward. That ward have a councillor. It's from a senatorial district. That senatorial district have a senator. Okay, it's from the a federal constituency. It's from a federal constituency. That federal constituency will have a speaker. Sorry, have a representative at the House of Rep. Okay, and all that. It's from a state. That state have a governor. Okay, so all of them, these political leaders and their chains, can actually put heads together and do the needful. Okay, Alex Oti, talked about the political solution too, which is actually his state of origin, that Nnamdi Kanu state of origin. Okay, so what exactly is the problem now? How are they going about it? When will he be good? When will they effect it? Are they going to use it for political exchange? Or are they going to release him because he was wrongfully convicted? Or what exactly are they doing? You should make it known, because even now, there's a movement across the international community. Okay? I think is it one Kenyan, is it Kenyan or one professor that is all over the place on the matter, on the extraordinary rendition, the unlawful, abduction of Nnamdi Kanu from where they took him from to where, before he was brought for trial. Now, ordinarily, the court here does not even have jurisdiction because of the way it was renditioned into the country. So all this put together, I think that that man has been unjustly dealt with in ways that violates his fundamental rights. And as such, the federal government should look into that injustice and find a way, to let him loose.
So let's take a look at the courts for a bit. For the mere fact that you had admitted that the jurisdiction upon which he was brought into Nigeria wasn't even tenable in the first place. So is it okay to fault the Nigerian judicial system, our court system, for even hearing the matter and going through with it when it is known that the system or the process that brought him into Nigeria wasn't even good enough?
Well, our laws, our criminal laws actually does not care about how an offender is arrested. You understand? You see that our laws will tell you that the police have to carry out search, when there's reasonable suspicion, they can undertake arrest. When they're arresting, these are the protocol for arrest. Invitation, when you refuse to honor the invitation, they come and bundle you. And when they bundle you, there are certain international and national conditions. You understand? You must not be maltreated. You must not be, your rights as a person must not be violated in the process of arrest and all that. You have all that in the books. But the exception to it is that once there's a reasonable suspicion, and there's a likelihood that the offender is likely to escape or have demonstrated, yes, all those issues can be set aside. And then they will just get you. The most important is that you are arrested. But the international law itself frowns at it. It frowns at violating the right of a citizen just because you want to prosecute him. International law frowns at it. So on the scale of international law, the court here have no jurisdiction because most of the offense that was outlined were not even committed within Nigeria. That's from international law perspective. He made broadcasts, he did this, he did that. You commute all that into an offense. It's this thing, let NSAS, and all those things. That is on the basis of which you convicted him. The evidence is not the evidence the court stood on to convict him. It's not the kind of evidence that is required in criminal prosecution.
So why did they go ahead? Why did the legal luminaries in charge, judges, everyone who was part of that, who know better, why did they go ahead to allow that work? Hello, Barris, are you still there? Okay, I think we lost Barrister right there. I would love to believe he would be back, hopefully when our connections gets better. We were speaking to the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, his conviction, and the only solution right now, which lots of people are hoping would be better, and that is a political solution. But the big question is, what is political solution? What type or angle of the political solution would be applied in this case? Is it a political solution that would make Nnamdi Kanu stand on the mandate like we've seen, funnily, around the country? You join the APC, like Adams Oshomole would say, and your sins are forgiven. Is that the sort of political solution that we hope to see for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Barrister, are you back with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, yes. All right. Yeah, so I was speaking to the issue of why you think judges, experts in law would still go ahead to carry out the process when they know too well that the process itself is flawed.
Yeah, that was why the no case submission was necessary. Okay, that was why the no case submission was necessary. But unfortunately, Justice James on Motoshaw didn't grant that no case submission because in criminal prosecution you don't rush to file defense. You don't rush to file defense, especially when you know that the way and manner the defendant was arrested and prosecuted, brought to court, and standing trial is not proper in the eyes of the law. So you start with a no case submission. So it is a no case submission that's when all these issues of jurisdictions, all the matters and all these were. Unfortunately, the no case submission did not succeed. And he was asked to enter his defense. Okay. Now he couldn't enter his defense. He went into something else. There was not, you know what, that defense was not entered in that case today.
Mm.
Yeah, so it is what the prosecution, all the allegations the prosecution laid, that was what was used to convict him. Because there was no defense. You understand? There was no defense because before conviction, they now file a preliminary objection on the basis of the charge. Okay, because he was charged under the Terrorism Act. Okay, and that particular act was repealed. Okay, that particular act was repealed, and when they amended the charge sheet, they were trying him on a repealed law. So we were trying him on a repealed law. So they now brought a preliminary objection to say the court should entertain that motion and look at the charge again. That the charge is being tried under is no longer the substantive law in the country on terrorism. And the judge refused to adhere to that. The judge was asking him to enter his defense. And preliminary objection can be brought at any time before judgment. So why didn't the judge take cognizance of that motion? At least just look at it, if it makes any sense whatsoever. So that is one part of the grounds of appeal now. And the trial court erred in law for failing to consider that objection. Okay. And every other grounds of appeal that relates to jurisdiction and so many issues and all that came on. Okay.
Yes, but in a case where there's nowhere to run, it's looking more like a legal maze right now. Who should anyone in such situation run to? Because the NJC are there to ensure that judges do the right thing. At this point where it is more like a terrorism crime, who do anyone run to at a point like this that might be said to be a cul-de-sac?
That I was convicted, in my estimation, that conviction cannot even survive appeal. Conviction cannot survive. It's a conviction of the Federal High Court. The Court of First Instance. There's a Court of Appeal, there's a Supreme Court. Okay. The Supreme Court itself, previously in that case, the same case, said it was irresponsible for the federal government to go to his house when he was on bail. The soldiers, when they killed people and killed his parents. They also said that the extraordinary rendition was irresponsible. That's the Supreme Court before now. But in the same case, though, you know, this case, through an application, went to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court ordered a retrial. From Justice Binta Nyako to Justice James Omotojo. The Supreme Court already have a view of that case. You understand? The Supreme Court already have a view on that case. And this matter is going back there. The matter is going back there. So I don't believe in that conviction at all. Conviction was wrong. Criminal matters are not handled like that. You have to do it live. You have to ensure that at least the defendant enters the defense, even when it's defiant. There was no defense entered. It was a prosecution's case that was used. So he can give the excuse that, but he refused to enter the defense. So what would the court have done? The case under reference. Okay. But even the prosecution's case, even let's assume but not considering that it's only the prosecution's case we have. The prosecution ought to prove beyond reasonable doubt on the strength of his own case and not the weakness of the defendant's case. Let's assume the defendant did not even enter any defense. He rested his case on that of the prosecution. What the prosecution presented in court, was it credible evidence to inculpate the defendant in a criminal matter that he made broadcasts and then people started dying? People were killed. Yes, and they said they should kill soldiers, and that's what you're using to convict him.
Well, lots of people would, yes, very true. Lots of people would say, why, I know all cases are not the same, but lots of people would ask, why is Sunday Igboho's own different? Is there any form of similarity? What was possible with Sunday Igboho that is not possible with Nnamdi Kanu?
Well, that's the political talk. Nigerian government did not try Sunday Igboho. So I can't find the similarities right now. Okay. It was tried by a court in Benin Republic, and the Southwestern pulled themselves together to rescue their own. So it's quite different from this issue we're talking about. Sunday Igboho was never prosecuted. Okay. So they're quite different, two different things entirely.
All right, so let's finally look at a political solution. Lots of people have said so. The only type of political solution that comes to mind right now is standing on the mandate. Adams Oshomole would say, join the APC and your sins will be forgiven. I do not see Nnamdi Kanu as someone who is ready to throw in the towel anytime soon. But if that is given to him, do you think or do you see that as an option? We've seen that in cases like Nelson Mandela's case. He served for 27 years. Lots of political solution at the time was brought to him, but he didn't take any of that. So do we see semblance of the same, really, knowing that the capacity or the type of personality of Nnamdi Kanu is someone that wouldn't want to go for anything he does not believe in?
The standing on the mandate team may not work. Nnamdi Kanu does not really care about his comfort or that he should align with the political system, the APC, so that he should be freed and all that. I don't think that's his objective. The man seems to have gone beyond that kind of material solution. He's looking at some kind of solution that is succession sensitive. Some some hegemonious solution, not solution of personal aggrandizement or personal gain or material acquisition, so that he will, even though he has been accused that the Kenya he went to was to collect material benefit or something like that. But with his recent stand and what I've seen so far, I don't think this thing is about materialism. The political solution, I think, that can be orchestrated by the government in power is to release them unconditionally and let that influence the Southeasterners. Let it influence their political choice. That's what I think. But you know, politicians don't do things like that. Politicians want to tie knots to knots. You understand? They want to be clear on agreements. Political solution, it comes with conditions. It comes with conditions. Yes. Most times when you see they have those long meetings and they come up with a resolution that they've decided on this, that they did not just decide. The parties, you see political parties, if they coming together of Kwankwaso and there will be an all political parties. That agreement is not just between Obi and Kwankwaso. There's a lot of persons who have interest too, who have been told to, you know, calm down. If we get it, let's get it. If we get it, these and these and these and the things, these are the places we put you. And those people, when you see them working vigorously, it's not just that they are working for the party's 2%. They are working for their own selves. You understand? So it is difficult to have a good solution with that condition.
And yes, and Barrister, it's actually quite sad, really. Nnamdi Kanu is a UK citizen, is a passport holder from the UK, but the UK seems not to care. Is it because he is a naturalized citizen of the UK? Could that be the reason why the UK doesn't give a hoot about his welfare?
Well, it's a citizen, not an indigene. A citizen, anybody can be a citizen of any country when you meet the conditions. Okay. But naturally, the UK, they are supposed to, you know, at least be in the fray. But UK citizenship is largely for economic reasons. It's not that they really have in mind. The countries where you have citizenship and they are after you and your welfare and all that, maybe like Canada because of the dwindling population, and then maybe some other countries where they yearn for people to come in, people who have value, who can give value to society. I have places like that. The United Kingdom is you are staying in the UK for a period of time. You are qualified, you now apply. They don't really care. They are giving you because you qualify. They're not giving you because you are of a value that will make them stick their neck out. If it's the United States, if it's the United States, I mean, Shore's case, the lawmaker representing him made serious case out of this whole thing. Yes, influenced his release.
Very well, true.
Yes, so for Nnamdi Kanu's own, it's not the case. There's a lot of laxity and all that too. I can't remember the last time the United Kingdom talked about it when it matters. Or that it's only human rights organizations around the world that are agitating. You understand? One man in one African country, one professor there and there, all that. And it's largely about media talk. They are not going beyond media talk and all that. So his case is quite pathetic.
Yeah.
The people who owns him, the Southeast, they are the first respondent here. Okay, they are the first respondent. They should be the one to find out the best political solution possible under the current constitution, because they are largely in the government. They have 5 governors. Okay, they have senators 3. three in 5 states, three, 5 states. They have House of Rep members. They have councillors. They have local government chairman. So what are they all doing to ensure his release, or to ensure that perhaps he gets at least a prerogative of mercy, or whatsoever? That's a solution. Something must be done. Something must. But a lot of people have also distanced themselves from him. A lot of Southeastern.
Yes, very well.
Especially those who were involved in his first release, have distanced themselves from him. Some persons who lost loved ones as a result of his agitations have distanced themselves. Just like Ojukwu. So many persons do not believe in what Ojukwu did because they lost loved ones in the process. You understand? So when you talk about Biafra to them, each time you mention Biafra, they slope into clinical depression and mourning and grief. So they are not about this your futuristic secessionist theory. No, life hits differently. Life hits differently. Okay, it's a way it hits you, and your priority is not about the collective good of anybody. Your priority is about a grief that seems not to go away because you lost a loved one as a result of this decision. And you seem not to be able to move on. But people talk about moving on. It's not everybody that can move on. It's not everybody that can move on. I was discussing with someone the other day. They said, my father ought not to have died. I know why I'm saying it. Because this world is too cold. Very well. It was the only one we had. I have never moved on. We cannot move on. People don't move on like that. People don't move on like that. So it's terrible. Sometimes you will look at it and say, but the collective good of the future is better off. Well, that is you. The person in question, life hits him differently. And he's saying no. You know?
I truly do feel what you're talking about, barrister. I'm a victim myself. I lost my brother, my elder brother, as a result of that careless agitation and all. And innocent people have lost loved ones as a result of that. And we do understand how that feels. And which is why lots of people will distance themselves from the Wakanda feeling that it's looking like Nnamdi Kanu would bring to the southeast of Nigeria. Well, it's this and that, and we just hope that a solution would be brought in anytime soon, and hope things would get better. Thank you so very much, Barrister, for your time. Truly do appreciate your insight.
Yes, my pleasure.
All right. And that's our time for today. I'd love to say thank you to everyone who has been part of our show. Thank you for your time. Meanwhile, do well to be part of it. You can join the conversation if you may. That is when you visit us at Enterprise TV 7. Drop your comments and we would be here to, of course, look through them and reply if we have the time. Please, you can also go read up on everything we've talked about when you visit us at enterprisetvnews.com. I am Henry Igwebike, and I'll see you on another episode of Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Have yourself a splendid weekday, and bye-bye from me.